What's going on, everyone? So this offseason is still going to be very interesting, right? LeBron James, he has the option to leave the Lakers and go elsewhere. Now, he is going to opt out. Opting out is part of the plan, right? I personally don't believe LeBron is going anywhere. I think LeBron is sticking around. I think LeBron and Anthony Davis, I think the Lakers will kind of retool a little bit, whether it's going to get another star, whether it's adding some depth pieces, whatever they end up doing, I think that will at least get probably 2 to maybe 3 guys that are going to come in to hopefully bolster the roster. JJ Redick being the head coach, right? I like the potential for the offensive schemes. He wants to get LeBron more off ball. Will LeBron be willing to do so, right? Will LeBron buy into that? He's talked about heavily how he wants to play more off ball, but him saying it and him actually doing it are two different things. And then Anthony Davis, JJ Redick wants to make Anthony Davis more of a focal point on the offensive side, elevate Anthony Davis, and make him more of a contributing piece, particularly in the fourth quarter. All sounds great. But at the end of the day, LeBron James could still potentially leave. And then if that were to happen, what do the Lakers do then? Because the Lakers would be in a very tough spot. Now, this whole thing is just a fun video that I want to dive into. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. I'm about to give mine. Again, I don't believe LeBron James is leaving. I don't. I think LeBron's staying. I think the Lakers are going to try to build a contender, try to win now. But if LeBron were to leave, right, what do you do with Anthony Davis? Do you keep AD? And do you maybe go trade for a Trae Young at that point, right? Because Trae, I think, would make a lot more sense now with LeBron gone. You need that guy that can make plays, set Anthony Davis up, right? Do you go make the big swing to try to go get that other star to potentially replace LeBron? Or do you just hit the reset button? And do you just say, you know what? We're going to trade AD, get as much of a return as possible, kind of build around our young guys and reset and let JJ kind of, build, because they want to build a system, right? They want to build a foundation for the Lakers. So if they were to rebuild, they could start that process rather quickly. Or there's always the possibility that if LeBron leaves, Anthony Davis just asks to be traded, right? If the Lakers, what if they can't get another star? Is Anthony Davis really going to want to play, for a year or two with the Lakers and not contend and not have another co-star? I mean, the Lakers have been squeaking by getting into the play-in with LeBron and AD. What does that look like without LeBron James? Now, I know a lot of people see the comments all the time. A lot of people want LeBron to leave. Again, this is just a fun discussion. But if LeBron leaves and we were to trade Anthony Davis, whether that's him requesting a trade or the Lakers going, you know what, let's hit the reset button. Colin Cowherd, again, this isn't about Colin Cowherd. However you feel about Colin Cowherd is how you feel about Colin Cowherd. But he talked about how, he wouldn't be surprised if AD wants out. I don't really buy anything he said in this segment. Personally, I don't believe AD wants out. I don't believe AD is leaving because I don't believe LeBron's leaving. But he proposed this trade. The Thunder receive Anthony Davis. The Lakers receive Jalen Williams, the Jalen Williams, not the other Jalen Williams, not the power forward, the 6'9" one. Talking about the 6'5", just efficient shooting guard, small forward. Carson Wallace, who I like a lot. And then 4 first-round picks in exchange for Anthony Davis. Now, again, want to make this clear. This is just a fun video diving into this possibility because I don't necessarily hate this trade. I don't think that this is necessarily enough for Anthony Davis. And some people might think, yes, it is. But you got to keep in mind, Anthony Davis is a top 10 player. I mean, this is basically a similar package for Rudy Gobert. A similar package for Donovan Mitchell, right? Anthony Davis is better than both those guys. So is it that the Thunder throw in more picks? Or is it that the Thunder throw in maybe another player? Maybe they throw in another young guy. Maybe you get the other Williams and another first. But at the surface, getting Jalen Williams and Carson Wallace and then a bunch of picks, I don't hate the idea. Another big problem or I guess thing that would have to be sorted out if they were to do this, are the first round picks. Because if it's the Thunder first round picks, those aren't going to be very valuable, right? Because the Thunder, if they were to get Anthony Davis, are probably, if healthy, probably winning the NBA championship. They're probably the best team in the league. I mean, you're talking at that point, you're talking, SGA, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Chet Holmgren, and Anthony Davis. They're the best defensive team. They got the rebounding, they got the size, they got everything. They probably, at bare minimum, are coming out the West, right? Again, if everyone's healthy. So I do think that there's some value in that, and I do think that this would be a nice package. Also, the Lakers would have to keep in mind, let's say that this was to happen this offseason, that the Lakers, they don't have their pick next year. So they can't go and use, and tank and end up, getting a top pick. So you'd have to take that into account, right? So you need to get some, probably more picks or maybe another young player. But let's just dive into this here, like particularly the two players. We'll start with Jalen Williams. Now, I like Jalen Williams a lot. He's 23 years old, right? He's got good size, good length. Right? He's like 6'5", 6'6". But he's actually a bucket getter. And he was one of the top closers and fourth quarter scorers in the league. He actually was better than SGA. It was like, very marginal, right? I mean, you're talking like 0.3. But still, that tells you something for a guy that was in year two playing alongside SGA. And his ability to basically play, the 2 through 4 on some occasions, but you're really probably looking at the 2 and 3. A legit two-way guy, can defend, can knock down shots. But to me, it was more so his efficiency. He was very efficient this season. And let me break down how efficient he was. So he averaged 19 points, again, second season, 19 points. And you got to remember, he's not the number one guy. He's basically the third guy behind SGA and Chet. So he still averaged 19 points. He averaged 1.1 steal. We'll round up and be nice to a full block, right? He averaged 4.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds. He shot 81.4% from the foul line, right? Had an EFG of 59.2%. He shot from 2-point range on 10.6 attempts, 57.6%. He shot from 3-point range on 3.5 attempts per game, 42.7%, and had a field goal percentage of 54% on 14 attempts per game. And he played 31 minutes a game and played 71 games. He also played 75 the year before, and his numbers were very similar. He didn't take as many shots. He took 10.6 field goal attempts per game compared to 14, and he averaged 14 points, so basically 5 points less, but basically the same efficiency, 52% from the field, 36% from three-point range, so he definitely had an uptick in that regard, but 57.9% from 2-point range on 7.9 attempts, and then EFG of 56.7%, 81.2% from the foul line. Gave you 4.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.4 steals. Again, we'll round up and say a full block. And yes, so I really like him as a foundation piece, right? Like you could have him in Austin Reeves. Like, so basically, let's say you draft, if you're going to rebuild, I would probably go with like Ware. I mean, you could still maybe get a Zach Edey, right? But you could do something like Carson, Austin Reeves, go Jalen Williams, Rui Hachimura, and then, I guess you could still go with Zach Edey just for the size, but I'd like a little more versatility, so I'd still probably prefer Ware at that point. If you have Anthony Davis, I think Edey you kind of get away with, but without AD, right, I would probably want to go with Ware. So, like, personally, let's say you draft Ware. Like, I think that that's a very good young core going forward. Like, seriously, I think that that would give you a really good young core. You'd still have, like, Jalen Hood-Schifino. You'd still have Max Christie, obviously. You'd have Maxwell Lewis, right? And, yeah, you just maybe bring in a couple vet guys and just let the kids go wild, right? I actually really do like that idea. And then you got a bunch of picks that maybe go make a move for a piece or two. Again, he would be a nice foundation piece. Could have the potential to be a legit 2 or 3 in this. I mean, he already is a legit 2 or 3, but I'm saying, like, can he take the next step? Can he be a number 1, maybe number 2 option at worst? If he's given the opportunity on a team like the Lakers, because again, he's basically the third option, right? Compared to, if he were that type of trade were to go down with the Lakers, he'd probably be the number 1 option, unless the Lakers were to pull off some crazy trade. But next up, Carson Wallace. Again, I really like Carson Wallace. 2-way point guard. He's a guy that 20 years old, incredibly young. He was actually very big and had some big minutes and some big moments for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's another guy that looks like he may end up having the potential to be a real hooper, right? It's his rookie season, played all 82 games. He only started 13 of them. He played about 20 minutes per game, gave you 7 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, half a block, and shot 78.4% from the free throw line, had an EFG of 60%, shot 57.2% from 2-point range, and then shot 41.9% from 3-point range on 2.9 attempts. He had a field goal percentage of 49.1% on 5.4 attempts. So if that efficiency, like let's say he gets 14 attempts per game, I mean, you're talking about a legit, especially if he gets to kind of play the point guard position or 2 guard, right? Because it's kind of what he is. He's kind of like that combo guard, right? He's like 6'4". He's got good size, good physicality, right? You may even be able to slot him at the 2. Maybe do something where like Reeves is at the point, maybe go like Reeves, Wallace, or you could go Wallace, Reeves, whomever, right? Like you could go about it. Like he's listed as a 2 guard. He's a guy that basically slotted, but that was particularly because, you got Giddey and SGA and stuff. I do think Carson Wallace is a guy that could go and play the point guard position, at least be a piece, right, at the guard position. But regardless, again, gives you another piece, another legit 2-way guy that had real efficiency. And that's something that I really like. I think that these would be 2 really nice, just kind of foundation pieces that, you could kind of build and add to your young core, add to your 17th pick, and then really kind of round out, get a bunch of draft picks. Again, I don't hate the idea. Want to be clear again, they're not trading Anthony Davis. They're not like LeBron, I don't believe is leaving. Even if LeBron were to leave, I still don't necessarily think that Anthony Davis would request a trade. This is more so like, what if that happens, right? Again, it's just fun conversations. This is YouTube. It's just a good time. That's all it's about. But, at the end of the day, I think that there is value because it's like Anthony Davis is exactly what the Thunder need and at a superstar level. And the Thunder have more assets than like basically double the next highest asset holder, right? So if you're the Lakers, I think I'm doing everything I can to drain the Thunder as much as possible. I really like Carson Wallace. I really like Jalen Williams. I think both those guys would be great foundation pieces to add to your already young core and could really set you up. However, I think you either need to get more picks because Anthony Davis, top 10 player in the league at worst. And, the package that you're looking at is essentially, like I said, the Rudy Gobert package or, the Donovan Mitchell, not far off from the Donovan Mitchell package. I think you got to get more picks or you got to get something, right? And then if you get a bunch of picks, maybe you go get that star. Maybe you still go get a Trey, right? And just kind of have like Trey and Williams or something like that. Or maybe you play it slow and give it a year or two, see what Jalen Williams can provide and what he can bring to the table. But I think you'd have to add some other guys, right? Problem is like who else is that? Like who else would would the Lakers want? That's why I kind of lean towards maybe you're getting more picks, right? I wouldn't mind, what's his name? Osman, is it Osman Dieng? I'm hoping I'm not butchering his name. I know he's a young guy, like a 6'9" forward that has some good versatility, and he's incredibly young. Can you I just maybe take some of their young guys, right? Do you maybe take like an Isaiah Joe also, bring him in. Isaiah Joe, he's like 24, 25, right? Maybe get something like that because look, again, the Thunder, they're set. They basically got everything that they need. They're probably one of, if not the best team in the league. They're probably the best team in the West, right? I think that there's that advantage of like, hey, like this is the guy that will put you over the top. And I think the Thunder would make an aggressive offer for Anthony. I think Sam Presti would really make a very aggressive offer. But, if you're the Lakers, you're trying to set yourself up for like the pieces necessary to go pull. Like, so say let's say Jalen Williams does turn out to be like a guy or like your number one or number two guy. Like it's clear cut. Say he gets to, 25 points a game on good efficiency. Say he's a legit, because again, he's putting up 19 a game as like basically your third option. So to think he can't score 6 more points a game, especially with his efficiency at being the number one or number two option, right? Like I think that's not that far-fetched at all, right? So let's say he really does show like, oh, he's a real deal, right? Like, well, now you have a bunch of picks, a bunch of assets, bunch of young players that you could maybe go make that move for another star, right? Maybe go make that push to go get another guy to add to Jalen, and now you got, whomever that is and Jalen, right? Or, maybe you're going and trying to get a different center. Maybe you're looking at one of the centers that are on the market, right? Maybe you're getting like a Mitchell Robinson and, go get, DeJounte Murray, right? And go with DeJounte, Jalen, Mitchell Robinson, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves, right? Maybe that's something that you're doing there with those assets and those picks and just see like, okay, like what does this look like? Is that a championship team? Probably not, but can you at least be a good quality player? Can you be like what you are right now, which is like a play-in team, right? Like, it's not like the Lakers have been this perennial, well, I mean, they've been in the conference finals, so, I mean, you can make an argument there. But, they've had their struggles. They're not this perennial top 3 seeded team every year, right? They're a play-in team that went on a nice run, right? So, if we're being honest, right? So it's like, okay, can you at least, be a play-in team and be competitive, but be this young competitive team? Like, I don't hate the idea. But anyway, again, just a fun discussion. Just wanted to break this down. I saw this, and I was like, hey, let's talk about it, right? Because at the end of the day, like I always say, this is just YouTube, right? It's entertainment. It's fun to discuss. It's fun to kind of talk these hypothetical trades. I understand it's not for everybody, but I enjoy it. I do. I enjoy breaking these down and hearing everyone's thoughts and opinions on certain things. But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, this is a discussion. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.